I'm Darrell Williams. I'm a clinical director of Purview Physical Therapy. Mike Wajda, I'm director of culinary for Highland.
Good morning, Pishotti, co-founder of Myriad Collection and responsible for the Myriad Hotel on Baxter. Looking forward to sharing some info today.
Great. Morning, I am Jerry Shepherd. I'm typical manager.
Wonderful. And then online, Jasmine, tune in, give us a little hint on who you are.
Oh, hello, this is Jasmine. I am with Jazz It Up, Party the Core. I run into Aaron yesterday at Con Huevos, and I remember I always say I have to come to the meetings.
Let's see, Jasmine, just a second, we're trying. That's good. Okay, Jasmine, go ahead. We ran into a technical crossover one more time.
No, I was saying I run into Aaron yesterday, you, at Con Huevos, and you remind me that I have to come to the meetings. I couldn't go physically today because I have a baby, but I decided to get online though.
It's wonderful. Now, Jasmine, I know that you've done wonderful work. And what is it that you do? Because you were cut off while we were doing our wiring issue.
Okay, I do balloon decor. I do a lot of grand openings and just event decors for businesses. You can go to my Instagram. It's just it up.
Wonderful.
Lou. Uh, yeah, and I live right in the Highlands.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us and congratulations on the firstborn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
David, tune in, please.
Good morning. My name is David Goad. I'm with Gollum Security Services here in the Highlands.
Wonderful, David. Thank you. And Deborah.
Deborah Harlan, Bonnie Castle Neighborhood Association Board Member. I sit on the Cherokee Triangle Bonnie Castle Neighborhood Plan Committee, and I monitor Bardstown Road still because I'm bitch emeritus of the Bardstown Road corridor, and having done 30 years of projects on the corridor and still working. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sorry, I
Deborah.
couldn't join you. I just, I have a very sick husband, so I can't leave the house very long. So,
Not a problem, and I'm glad you could tune in. Sharon, what's going on, girl? Sharon, or which way? Oh, you're muted, Sharon. There you go.
Okay, I'm with Molly Malone's Irish Pub and Restaurant. For those of you who don't know me, I'm new to the marketplace and I am doing business development, looking to get new business, make new partnerships, sponsorships, and I'm around to volunteer and help at other events. And I'm
she's
sorry I couldn't come in to meet everybody today.
but she's a great volunteer. All right, Hannah. Hello, Hannah. Well, Hannah, you're muted. And then Amanda, you're both muted.
Hi, this is Amanda Roberts. I'm a reporter with WDRB, just sitting in.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I think that's everybody. Yes. Dalen, are you in there?
Yeah, this is Dylan and Megan Hook. We're with the Outlook Inn. We operate the Outlook Inn in the Highlands.
Oh, wonderful. Got any specials coming up?
Not right now.
Hey, you got a few minutes. Work on it. All right. Hey. All right. Well, I'm Aaron Gavan. As Jeff said, Gavan Metro Realtors, and real estate is what we do. All right. Well, Craig, why don't you come up and see what we can do about the mystery of what's going on at the new hotel location.
Are we able to switch?
You're gonna have to work with them.
Okay.
You want to bring that up here?
I can, sure. Technology's fun.
Yes.
We're coming apart, guys. Hang. Sorry. While I'm doing this, maybe we could have Mike and Drake introduce themselves, maybe tell a little bit about themselves. And then I'll roll into the Myriad Hotel that's at 900 Baxter. but Mike Wajda, Director of Culinary Operations and Development, and Drake Shepard, who is the General Manager of the Myriad Hotel. Hotel will open mid to end July, and the restaurant components, food and beverage and pool, will open about June 1st. So Mike, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so really excited about all of our efforts going into beginning of June. So funny enough, Craig and I grew up not far from each other in Northeast Ohio, near Youngstown. So we've met collectively, the three of us, all works in different capacities for 21C. I was the executive chef of Proof on Main for 4+ years before moving on into different ventures, most recently with Everyday Kitchen and being executive chef for the Logic brand in the New area. I have a vast background from culinary school, working with Gordon Ramsay just after that in New York City, and kind of rolling through New York, hitching on with Michael Mina and helping him open lots of different restaurants across the United States, and anything from Michelin star restaurants to more casual izakayas, steakhouses, and different things like that. So all of that, being able to understand how to manage different demographics, understand different types of food, is really beneficial for joining Common Bond. So we have lots of openings on the horizon. Obviously, we're Paseo and the Myriad being the ones on the opening the soonest. But being able to be a part of Common Bond in these restaurants and hotel concepts that are not cookie cutter. So having that background and opening across different aspects of the United States really helped me out with being director of culinary, so that we can dive into these historical projects and understand different demographics, understand how we can support the historical building, both what the building needs, what the area needs, and dive into those different demographics and things like that. So really excited about this one, and we'll talk about Drake and how he's going to manage the hotel. Yeah.
I can't hear you online, so.
Yes. Good morning again. I am Drake Shepard. Of course, I'll be the general manager at Myriad Hotel. Very, very happy to be back in Louisville. A little bit about myself. I started in hotels in 2008, and I've done a lot of roles in a lot of different cities. I met these gentlemen with 21C. I helped open some hotels my first hotel was here in Louisville with 21C, and I helped open other properties with 21C. My last city was Kansas City. Came here and accepted the role as general manager. And I'm just happy to be back in my favorite city. And I definitely hope that you guys can come out and see us. We position ourselves as a neighborhood hotel, neighborhood bar, neighborhood pool club. So we definitely want to see you guys there, your families there. Come see me, have a coffee with me. Thank you.
Thanks, Drake. That's great. Craig Pishotti, co-founder of Common Bond Hotel Collection. Real briefly, I guess the most relevant history for me would be head of operations for 21C Museum Hotels for about 7 years, between like 2007 to 2012. And then went to Manhattan, came back, and for the purpose of doing what we're doing today. So when I lived here before, working at 21C, I never understood why there weren't these really cool independent boutique hotels dotted across bourbon country as they are in wine country, Napa, Sonoma, Tuscany. So coming back and partnering with Weyland Ventures. Weyland Ventures is a 30-year-old company based in Louisville. Bill Weyland is responsible for the bat at Slugger Museum. He renovated Whiskey Row. He's done the Henry Clay. A lot of historic preservation work that Weyland Ventures are committed to, and what we're committed to also as we move into the hospitality business with that company. So the Myriad, the old disco ball factory, 900 Baxter and Breckenridge, great spot. I think it's sat vacant for a number of years. I don't know exactly how long. Nicholas owned it. We bought it at auction just before COVID. Great time. So the only benefit of that is we had time to design and really figure out what we wanted to do with that space. It was quirky, it's weird, it's everything that we love about the Highlands. I'm also a Highlander, so I live in the neighborhood, as does the CEO of Weyland Ventures and most of her family. So we're a part of the community, we're here. And I think part of our, as Drake said, we really want to make this a local spot, a neighborhood spot, because we always believe if the locals love it, the visitors will love it even more, because that's where they want to hang out. So I'm gonna just cruise through some slides, some images, because I think that's probably the best storytelling that we can provide you today. If you have comments or questions, don't hesitate to speak up. One thing that I know is always an issue for local neighborhoods or a concern is parking. So I think I'll address that first before I jump into the slides. We have approximately 38 parking spots that we own behind the hotel. So that will be for our overnight guests. And that averages about to the percentage of people that drive in versus fly in. So we're feeling very good about that. We are offering valet parking for our hotel guests. We've also secured a couple of parking lots in the neighborhood behind Orange Theory and Idea, and then across the street with the lawyers. It's Chauncey, I can't remember his last, Heinstead, right across the street from us. So we've got about 60 to 70 parking spots available for our restaurant guests that we could use so that we're not tying up as much of the street parking that's already kind of tight in the Highlands. So we kind of want to take people on a little vacation when they come to the Myriad Hotel. As I said, it's the old disco ball factory. So why we call it the Myriad? The Myriad reflector was the patented name for a disco ball, created in 1917 in Newport, Kentucky. So instead of going literal for discotel or disco, we really didn't want to create that party vibe. We wanted to create more of an interesting, more elevated, laid back vibe. So the Myriad Hotel came to life. And also beyond that, it's this experience that once you walk in, there's a myriad of things happening behind the facade. We've got Switchboard Bar and Lounge, which is a coffee space by morning and afternoon. It transitions to a really lovely evening cocktail spot. We've got the Paseo restaurant that Mike is curating and creating just ridiculously yummy food, which I think you're all going to love. He'll talk about that when we get to those images. And then we have the swim club, the Myriad Swim Club, which will be open for locals if you wanted to book a Chase Lounge or a cabana, and it'll be based upon availability. We obviously want to take care of our guests first to make sure that we're creating satisfaction there, but there will be times when you could buy a day pass, a half day pass, come enjoy the pool. Food and beverage is served everywhere. So whether you're at the pool, the Paseo, there's a pool bar. We've got a really nice outside Paseo lounge that's right off of Baxter Avenue. So there's a lot going on behind that facade. So 65 guest rooms at the Myriad Hotel, Paseo Restaurant and Bar, Myriad Swim Club, Switchboard. We do have private areas for dining. So small groups of 30 people for sit-down dinners for private events, family reunions, anything like that. There's also some space at the pool. So you can book those areas for cocktail parties, stand-up, light bites, etc. And then obviously community event space. If you had meetings like this, if you wanted to book a space, we'd happily partner with all of you in some capacity to be involved in these sort of things. I mentioned earlier that we are preservationists at heart. 8 out of 10 projects that we do are historic preservation work, whether that's all the ones I mentioned, Whiskey Row, Henry Clay, a number of historic projects. So here's the pool. So you're not going to expect this when you walk into the Myriad Hotel, right? The front door, the facade's a little unassuming, but you walk back, we've got a fireplace here, we've got a fireplace over here, all gas driven, no real wood, so we won't burn the town down. And then over here is your Paseo restaurant. So here's that little space under this crazy orange tower, right? So when you look at these things, does anyone know what those are? So when the disco ball factory was alive, that was the dust collector. So all of the ground glass was sucked through from the factory through these towers so that all the dust would come out so they could grind the glass and make the disco balls. Omega Products is now next door. Still on Baxter and Breckenridge, but just next door to us on Breckenridge. So 95% of the world's disco balls were made in Louisville during that era. But these towers, we saw those and we said, let's keep those. Those are an interesting artifact, something that tells the story, and they're just kind of cool. So this little sitting area is one spot you could do an event, like right here. There's the pool bar. And this is switchboard. So the intention, you want to talk about switchboard, Mike? How much time do we have? I don't want to eat in.
Until you see me look at your green.
Okay. Because we got a lot of stories, so I don't want to cut into your time.
No one really knows what you're up to. True confessions now in time.
Okay, okay, great. Mike, you have.
So switchboard is super fun because it kind of evolves throughout the day. So in the early hours during the morning, you'll be able to go there, get a great cup of coffee, that espresso that kickstart your day. Also, we are partnering up with Grainright, who's moving into the Highlands as well as a great little bakery, right? So supporting local, getting that bread from right down the road. You'll have danishes and croissants, croissant supremes, and different things that we are highlighting and garnishing ourselves to put our spin on it of what that is going to be. Moving into afternoon, we'll have this all-day menu that kind of goes through, and the idea that it's more of little snacks and things. So tapas and snacks throughout the day, and then so you'll be able to get some fried olives. You'll be able to get a little bit of charcuterie and things like that to go with next to that Danish and progress. And then later in the evening, we'll have a spritz program, some bourbon, because we're in brown liquor land, you know. So if you want to get that old fashioned, if you want to get that whatever that is, you'll be able to, and that'll transition into later in the evening. So Paseo's, or sorry, switchboard is super fun because you can, what you saw in the beginning of the day and what you saw as that mood changes, the whole concept changes throughout the day with the time of day. So it's also a great place to meet somebody over some coffee, get to know them by the pool, and then come back and have some wine later in the evening before you wander upstairs, right? So it's a really fun concept.
I'm going to keep you here because you think Paseo's next.
Yeah. So Paseo literally translates to the end of a leisurely stroll. So the entryway from the street, if you're looking at the building to the left, there's a Queen Anne building to the left, right next to Outlook, right? So and the top of that will be rooms, but under that will be this beautiful walkway that kind of winds back into the dining room through some beautiful greenery. As you see, it also acts as a lounge, right? So that's the end of your leisurely stroll. And as you're winding through this beautiful entryway, at the end, you'll be able to see a burning wood fire grill, right? And that's going to kind of be the heartbeat of what Paseo is. So we're focusing on, having some Italian influence, having some Middle Eastern influence, right? Following into all these different food backgrounds of the Mediterranean, right? But the heartbeat of that is the wood fire grill. So the coal, the wood that's going in there, those nuances that are touching all the food will be a huge component of that. Whether you are smelling the wood burning grill from the pool or sitting in the dining room or by the grill itself, right? So on that menu, we talked about in the very beginning about how we're not going to be special occasion only, right? Or we want to be able to tap into the neighborhood. So how we did that was having those tapas snacks that are easy to get several. We also are doing hand extruded pastas. So semolina, water, and really fresh ingredients, right? So you're able to come in during a weekday and get an inexpensive pasta or get some of those snacks and not feel like it has to be a special occasion to come into Paseo, right? But if you want to, we also have paellas that we're firing that speak to a lot of that Italian Spanish culture that feed up to like 3 to 4 people, right? So it allows you to get a starter. Paellas take about 30 minutes to cook. So you could order your paella, get some snacks to start, and 30 minutes later, your paella of 3 to 4 comes out and hits the table. So the idea of this is ironically, all of these, all these countries that we're representing and that we fell in love with to really speak to the Paseo are part of these blue zones, right? The idea that you live longer because where you live, right? What you're consuming, the environment that you're around, Not because you can't drink wine, you can definitely drink wine, right? So our idea is that we are highlighting the ingredients of the Ohio River Valley. We're diving into the farmers, we're diving into the makers, we're diving into everybody in the local community to preserve that blue zone lifestyle, all while consuming bourbon. So
Good match. Sure. So I'll run through the rooms if that's all right. So we have, it's a weird building. You've got the Italianates on the corner of Breckenridge and Baxter. It's elegant, it's refined, it's limestone, it's red brick, it's 2 stories. Upstairs is 16-foot ceilings. It's really a stunning entrance. That's the old Southern Bell Telephone Company, which is why we named the bar and coffee space downstairs switchboard, because that's where the ladies and gentlemen actually did the switchboard changing with the one ringy ding. You all remember one ringy ding. They don't remember that. And then next to that is the factory. So you've got the mid-century modern, the 60s building that isn't really that appealing, but we preserve that. So behind that then is where the pool is. We raised the factory behind it, cleaned that all up with the pool and the towers. And then that Queen Anne building, that light blue building next to the Outlook Inn is where Paseo starts. So you have that garage door entrance into Paseo, windy, the restaurant, the bar. In September, October-ish, we will open a retail store on Baxter, which is at the base of that blue building, the Queen Anne building, which is a concept called Barkeep, which will be our private dining room. You can book it for events, community meetings, but it's also a retail shop by day. So your shopkeeper is actually a mixologist. So when you arrive, you get a little tasting sample of whatever he or she are making for the day. And then you can buy great hostess gifts, party gifts, bar tool kit sets, books, things about culinary, things about beverage, focusing on bourbon. It's also going to be a package store that you could take things home to go for wine or liquor. So I'm going to show you some rooms. We wanted definitely a modern vibe to the guest room, something that was, excuse me, business travel is important to us. So the Sunday through Thursday business, we really are targeting people coming into town for business. We're going to pitch that idea as you're 4 minutes from downtown. Please come here, bring your laptop, sit at the pool, work, eat, snack, really be in the lifestyle, the entertainment district of Louisville. And we can get you downtown in 3 minutes to your unit. So this is a corner suite up in the Italianate building. And then this is stylistically what you're going to see in most of the rooms here. Just a living space, which is part of a suite here with this green space. We also have these bunk rooms that are super cool for the younger travelers, we think. So we've got 2 bunk rooms, one sleeps 10, one sleeps 6. So when I say we've got multiple tiers, like I think mom and dad are going to stay up here, you know, and the teenagers or the Gen Zers might be in bunk rooms, or the millennials. So we've got kind of a broad market appeal, broad market price points for the rooms. We are using local artists as well. So all the photography in the rooms and in the guest rooms are photography of J.D. Dotson. He's also the owner of Regalo. In New Albany, I think his store here might still be open or is closed. So JD's got a wonderful portfolio of photography. Cletus Wilcox is a local artist. He's doing all of the arts in our lobby and switchboard and the switchboard lounge. So these are our guest rooms. Most of these on the perimeter of the inside, right, that face the pool. So your ground floor spaces have lanai, so you can step out onto your lanai. It's landscaped. You've got a day bed, little sitting area, privacy, but still little peekaboo moments through the landscape that you can still see the pool. Upstairs, we have balcony rooms on the east side. So you step out onto your balcony, again, nice seating outside. The building is actually east-west exactly. So you get that morning sun on the Baxter side, and you get the west sun on the back pool side. That's it.
Time frame.
Sure. The Paseo restaurant, lounge, and the pool. We're anticipating a June 1st opening date. Don't quote me on that because it's construction and you never know. But they're about June 1st, and then the hotel end of July is what we're shooting for.
And the restaurant.
Restaurant June 1st.
I don't think.
Yes.
Do we know price points yet?
We do, for the hotels, it'll be a range of price points, so we're gonna be competitive, in the marketplace. It is a full service hotel, so, it's similar more to like the Still, the Moxie, the 21C downtown, as far as services provided, valet parking, guest services, housekeeping, those sort of things. It's not an Airbnb model, it is full service. Price points, it's gonna range depending upon season, right? So, and we're like the airline, so if it's a Friday, Saturday, it's up here. If it's Sunday, Monday, it's down here. If it's January, it's down here. So, you know, it ranges. And then of course with the pool, we'll be at peak, you know, May, June, July, August, September. I could say, you know, 189 to 399 would be a range depending upon season, time of week, et cetera. And then the suites, of course, are going to be a bit higher than that, as well as the bedrooms.
Please ask the question.
Yeah,
Craig, I think I heard that the swimming pool is gonna be saltwater,
it is.
and what's the logic behind that? If you don't mind me asking?
Saltwater is a low maintenance type of pool. There's no chemicals. So, you know, when you get that chlorine smell when you get out of a pool, it's kind of doesn't feel good on your skin. The saline with an outdoor pool is just, it's a good conditioner for your skin. There's no smell. It's low maintenance. And we'll leave it open year round. So I don't think you're going to want to jump in January, but it will be heated enough so that it's a really nice aesthetic as you're sitting in the Paseo restaurant looking out and with the steam kind of coming off of it. Yeah.
I know on behalf of the residents of the area, there's concern about the alley, whether or not that's agreeable, then I don't know if that's more of a problem or not.
It is. So we own the alley from like Breckenridge to the mid zone where then that cut through is. That alley will be reopened. So that'll be a passageway through for anyone locally and also for our valet parkers. So it's really kind of jumbled up right now with construction and containers and things, but that'll all be cleaned up. Yeah.
So when you say full service, a person can come in, they go to a desk, they get registered versus a keypad.
That's right.
Or they have to register to just even get into the building.
Yes, and we also embrace technology. So we're hospitality folks. We believe in the human connection. You know, that's the name of our parent company, Common Bond Hotel Collection, the ties that bind, the connections that we make, those emotional moments, that why we are friends, why do we stay with people, right? Those emotional bonds are important. So we'll always have a human at the desk to check you in. But there's also an option. You'll get when you book your reservation online or on the phone, you'll get an email that will say, here's your confirmation. A few days before your arrival, you'll get another email that'll say, you're about to arrive. You can download this app, click here, and you can get a mobile key on your phone. So if you're one of the people that don't like that interaction, which we find, you know, younger people don't want to really talk to you, right? They want to just kind of do their thing. So that's an option. Download the app, you get a mobile key on your phone, and you can go directly to your room. And it's all access controlled, so only guests can get to certain parts of the hotel. But yeah, there's nothing better than hi, how are you today? Welcome to the Myriad, right?
I agree.
Yeah, but we're giving people the option. Choice matters.
From the marketing point of view, how you say C21 would have you, so how do you do this in your marketing of the area?
Yeah, so our demographic kind of trends with the city, trends with urban travelers. So the urban traveler is typically 26 to 64 is the primary demographic. It's people that love whiskey or an aficionado of whiskey or have an interest in it, that have a disposable income that's pretty substantial and a household income of about 85,000 and above. Our business traveler will be that corporate component, Sunday through Thursday, people here for business, 1 or 2 nights. Having meetings perhaps downtown or the convention center or just visiting clients. But then there's also groups. So we see a lot of like wedding blocks, rehearsal dinners we can host, local parties, like I said, small parties. This isn't a big party house. This is a 30-person event space, 40-person cocktail space. So it is contained a bit. We have quiet hours too, which we're implementing at the pool, so that there's not a ruckus, after, what do we say? 10 o'clock on the weekends. I think it's a little earlier midweek, so that we realize we have a neighborhood right behind us, so we're being as respectful of that as possible. If you ever hear anything, or if you're part of that neighborhood behind us, please call me directly with the cards I gave you.
Well, you bring some excitement to the area. And I thank you enough to be,
So your business, you're catering to the business travel, Sunday through Thursday, so your weekend, Friday and Saturday, would you you're more inexpensive to go? I know sometimes when I travel to other cities, the weekends end up being the cheaper times there. So yours will be the same, or just hadn't figured that?
I don't think so. I think the corporate clientele usually gets a negotiated rate that our sales team will, they actually get a little better deal because they're coming more often. So maybe they book 100 rooms with us because they're with company X. So they get a little better deal. The weekends are prime because of the traveler. The bourbon traveler is really becoming intense. 2.1 million people come here for bourbon every year, which is mind-boggling, and soon to be like 3 to 4 million in the next decade. So that's kind of our target audience as well for leisure traveler, and they're coming all week long. It's just they're really compressed Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the most part. But come April through December, bourbon tourism is hot every day of the week.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. How many hotel rooms?
65.
65.
And that includes 3 suites in that 65 number. Yes, sir.
How many people in those 65 rooms, maximum capacity?
Well, most of the rooms are king, so 65% of our rooms are king bedded rooms. 35%, well, 30% will be double queens. Well, let me rephrase. 65% will be kings, or we have some full bed rooms for that individual traveler that wants a little better deal, a less expensive room. And then 30% are about double queen rooms. And then the suites are about 5% of that remaining. So the exact number of people, I can't really determine, but the majority of the space is for 1 or 2 people per guest room.
well, thank you all very
Pleasure.
much.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
While we're getting set up, technical adjustment. Are there any excitement you all are getting ready to do? Any specials, special events, sales items? Yes.
So I'm Beth, at the Highlands Library in there, and I just have a couple of events that are going on with the library. I know that on Friday, April the 14th, at the main library, there is a special event with author Eric.
If you will, come up here, we're set up now. Thank you, Beth.
Okay.
So there's a special event at the main library. Thank you. A special event at the main library with author Eric Klingenberg. He is a sociologist who wrote the book Palaces for the People. And there's going to be a special panel with him, including Mayor Craig Greenberg. And they're going to be discussing the content of the book. He's a sociologist talking about social infrastructure. And so the importance of libraries, parks, churches, daycares, and how they affect your community, and the importance of working with those institutions in your community. And that's going to be at 3 o'clock, Friday, April the 14th. And it's a free program, but they do, the main library, they're asking if you could go online to our library's website to register for the program. I had postcards, but I've run out. They're printing more. So if you want more information, you could ask at the library, or you can go onto our library's website
at the LFPL.org. Oh, good. You've got one. Thank you. So the information, we should have more of these postcards at the library too, where you can go on the website.
We're putting it online too.
Great. And then just one other event that's going on the night before at the Highlands Library. We're having local historian and retired local architect, Steve Weiser, and he's going to come and do a program on researching the history of your home or your house. That's at 6:30 that night before, April the 13th. And he has worked on some sites that are included in our library's website now. And so he will show you how to find the history. I know we have a lot of homes that are fairly old here. And he also will show you how to navigate some of the sites that are available with the library as well. So you're welcome to come. And if you have more questions or want more information about it, just let us know at the library. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I know there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of changes going on. And one thing I can honestly say is a new opening, a new position was filled just recently. Ben Reno-Weber is now our new District 8 representative. We do have his bio online. I don't think the one thing in his bio didn't mention, and we're gonna have to do a little research to verify this, but I believe you are the tallest member of our current commission.
I believe that is correct.
All right, well, success. Please come up.
Of course, that means that this is going to look straight up my nose. So good thing. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Ben Reno-Weber. I am a Highlands native, born and bred, left the city for 12 years and had moved back here with my family in 2010 to a house that is just a couple of blocks from the house that I grew up in, very near to Atherton. I am so excited to have been chosen for this position. I will do the absolute best job that I can for the time that I have it. And we'll be seeking the election in the future. I would love to talk to you all a little bit about some of the vision that I have heard shared by many of the people in this room along the way, and so how that connects into where I think I might be able to be helpful and want to serve this community that I care about so much and that my kids are in. So I think the first piece I want to say is that we have been very well served in many ways in our representation to this point. The foundations have been laid within city, within the planning and zoning department, with LMPD for some of the things that I think are long-term projects and connected to a longer-term strategy that I'm really excited to be able to help execute. I am a serial entrepreneur, and in that context, I understand a lot of the pieces that businesses struggle with. Some of those are problems that can get smoothed through government. A lot of them are not, and they're going to require a coalition of businesses, of citizens, of residents, of nonprofits, in order to get the sort of community that we all want to have, which frankly, we all have to be aware is shifting. The remote work change that has happened due to changes in technology and due to COVID is going to change what people want out of their communities and their neighborhoods. And I think it's so exciting what's happening with the library, because I actually just finished that book. And it is amazing, helping us to think about what it looks like for us to be the best Highlands that we can be, to respond to these changing needs. It's a real opportunity for us. I think this idea of third space, the places that people want to go, they want to be walkable, because even when I'm working from home, I do actually want to leave my basement periodically. Now, I might not want to get in my car to drive somewhere. I, in fact, probably don't, but I'm actually excited to go spend 5 or 10 minutes walking to get to another space where I can interact with humans, not in a little box. Hello, people in the little box. And I think for the Highlands, that is an amazing opportunity. The more that we can create those kinds of spaces, that we can be creative for people who want those kind of bite-sized moments of interaction, that's going to be amazing for us. The other really interesting point of leverage that we have in terms of city investment that we didn't have before is this talking point. Per acre, we are the highest tax revenue generating part of our city. We are an economic engine. And so when we go to before the budgeting committee and say, hey, these are the things we need to continue to make this space vibrant, we have that to say. You need us to be successful, because that is part of a deep part of the success of our city as a whole. Now, I will say this also. We need the rest of the city to be successful for us to be successful. For people to want to come and hang out in the uniquely Highlands community, we need the city to be attractive. So I think part of what I want to be working on is how do we be investing in the city as the city invests in us? How do we communicate to Louisville tourism? Like, hey, you know, it'd be great to get people up Bardstown Road, out here into this space. And I'm excited about that. I think that's a real opportunity for us. So I'm going to stop there and let you all direct some of the conversation for the time that we have. Yes, ma'am.
We've covered this point before, and I think it's a moot point, but it is a concern. The property where the old Baptist hospital is, there at Barrett and Breckenridge, back in that area. Okay, we know that is going to be developed in a way that most of us are not pleased. We would like to see a regional library there. And as you just mentioned, Ben, we are the highest tax generating entity in our community. So I think we should have some clout in that.
So I think there's a couple of pieces to that. So in the current library's strategy, we are not high on that list. So I think we have to then go and have a conversation with the Library Foundation to say, all right, what would it look like? Where do we need to, how do we work with you so that as you're making asks, that we can be part of that conversation. So I absolutely hear that. I'm still getting familiar with the mechanics of how that works. So this is day 9. But it is very much on my list. In fact, I saw Chandra Gordon, who is the head of the Library Foundation, last night. So we are setting up a meeting to understand what the options are. That might also not be purely government. I mean, this is one of the things that I think is one of the other meetings I had last night. I think we have the highest density of people in charge of local philanthropies per capita of any neighborhood in our city. Which definitely works to our advantage. So I think this is likely going to be one of those spaces where it's going to be a public and private partnership that really drives that. That makes it much more attractive for the city to make an investment if we can raise private capital. So we're going to explore that, but trust me, I hear you. And that is I grew up in the Bon Air Library. My kids currently have books that are late in the Shelby Park Library. Like I believe in the importance of those kinds of pieces of infrastructure.
Thank you.
Hi. That's your job, I think.
Yes. How tall are you?
I am 5'19".
6'5". George Console was 6'7".
Okay, well, we would have to stand back to back then
Okay.
and stretch out.
Just putting it out.
Got it.
Where did you go for 12 years? What did you add to your resume?
So I left here to go to Washington, D.C. For undergrad. I studied international relations there. And then I moved to the Balkans. I lived in Sarajevo for 2 years. So I speak Bosnian. And what I did there was microfinance and then small business finance for the International Finance Corporation. And a lot of that was about how do we create the conditions for particularly small businesses to thrive. So that's what got me really passionate about the idea that business can be a driver for social good. And this public-private partnership opportunity is an opportunity for us to really use economic development to change lives. So I did that for 2 years in the Balkans, and then as a consultant, I worked mostly in the former Soviet Union, a little bit in other places. Came back when my father got sick, was here for a year, and then went to grad school where I studied business and public policy in Boston. And from there, followed my Yankee wife, who I met singing karaoke in a dive bar. She would like to say that she was studying public policy and maybe we were in class together, but we actually started hanging out after karaoke. And was a corporate consultant for a while, and then moved back here to run the Kentucky YMCA, which does youth engagement programs, particularly around civics. So KYA and CUNA, we sent at its peak, maybe still 7,000 kids per year to Frankfurt to debate legislation for 3 years or for 3 days. So they would write the bills. And that's part of what I'm excited about this role, is the ability to bring young people into the political process. And so from there, I got very annoyed with how we engaged volunteers. We didn't have the right technology for a new generation of volunteers. So we built an app called Mobile Serve that helps people to record, track, build a service resume, engage the right number of volunteers in the right places. It's currently used by about 500 organizations across the country, including most of the local high schools here.
What do you?
Oh, and now I work at U of L, and what I do is help people to start and scale businesses that close health equity gaps. So a lot of focus on any place there's an identity-based difference, which is the most expensive problem in healthcare and often the most expensive problem for government, are these equity gaps. And we're looking for commercial solutions that can scalably address those.
Excuse me, but first I hear about all these national searches that want to do for executive activity. And I've been trying to counter that with the higher localizing. And I know we've got that in health equity center.
Yeah.
And we got 800,000 people working on problems rather than 6 people going out and get.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big believer in, as much as we can, finding local talent and developing local talent. I believe that when we get businesses that are no longer headquartered here or have Louisville ties, we lose a lot. We depend a lot on our business citizens, and it is incumbent on us to create the spaces here that both individuals, so that involves making sure that we have the right skills and training as a community, and organizations, that we can easily start scale companies here. So the job I had before this was for a Microsoft funded grant that was providing tech training to local communities around what's going to happen with AI and automation. It's in some ways not as scary as many people would make it out to be. There are parts of it that are super scary. But a lot of it is actually going to be really empowering for the communities that figure this out first. And so I did a lot of work with that grant around building a training ecosystem that's directly connected to local hiring needs. So we shouldn't be having to import data scientists from other places. We should be growing data scientists, and not even really data scientists, people who are familiar enough with the tech at an early point of their career that they can then grow with the companies that we are growing here. It's also, I mean, part of what excites me about this role is that there's a platform. I think 9 days in, I have an even deeper appreciation for it than I did before, to talk about these issues. We need to be engaging full on in what kind of community that we want to be. Now, we're not all going to agree on that in lots of ways. Over the last couple of days, I have been to 5 different local community meetings, and there's lots of intense conversation that needs to happen. And that's good. That process is good. The process of disagreeing respectfully with one another, with acknowledging the good intent of the people who have good intent and just think differently than I do, like, that's a really important part of our civic ecosystem. And it's part of what I want to be driving with the platform that I have for as long as I have it.
It was my understanding it took like 5 votes for the process to occur. So during that process, you found out who your allies were.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, the fascinating piece of this to me from a political perspective is how many people came up to me afterwards and said, oh, I didn't vote for you even though I wanted you. Because this was the message that I was sending over here and I thought I had done the math and this. And the people who might have voted for me who were like, I'm not your ally, but I don't like this other thing and I can stick it to this person over here. Look, that's politics. Right? Since then, in fact, more of the people who voted against me have come up and said, how do I help you be successful? I'm so excited you're here. And I think that's just part of local, right? It's part of the political process that it's not obvious what's happening there. And that's okay. And the how do we work together afterwards is really the important part. And that part I'm really excited about. But yeah, it's weird. And the next part of the process is weird. I think what I will be excited about is when we get back to the way this was intended to be, which is an on-cycle election in which everyone's voice gets counted and heard. That'll be great.
Any other thoughts? Cannot thank you enough for coming by.
Thank you all. I mean, really, like, this is what civic society should look like. People coming together, putting in their time and energy and their thoughts and their wisdom and bringing what they have to the table in order to make the whole community better. Like, this is what we need more of. So I appreciate all of you for being here, all of you for being there. I apologize for you having to stare at my nose. Thanks so much.
Just to let you know that we have worked with each administration, we have worked on special projects as well. So we'll look forward to continuing doing.
It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. And I'll be around.
All right. Let's see. Now that we've made it through some of the excitement of the day, we have a drawing. Now, where did he go? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Nick, give him a little info, what we're getting ready to do.
Good morning, everyone. Again, it's really very exciting to hear we have two new ventures here, so to speak, with Ben taking over the council person for 8th District and Craig Pishotti and his team with the Myriad Hotel in Paseo. That's probably one of the largest investments in the Highlands, I would think, Craig, for what, many years as far as your all's investment?
I know what our investment is, I'm not sure. But it's substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would like to, anyone who may not be a member here, we'd like to invite you to join us, the Highland Commerce Guild. There are some membership brochures on this front table up here, and new businesses and current businesses, of course, are the heart and soul of the Highlands. So we certainly want to encourage and promote and support businesses new that will be joining us. Obviously the gift certificates for the Myriad Hotel are not quite ready. So Craig has offered a gift certificate for the Bardstown Motor Lodge and the Toogies Table.
Nick, if I may, we could do the Myriad on Paseo. I just don't have the money physically. But
Okay.
whoever's drawn, I can mail them a Myriad Paseo gift card. Since that would be local, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Our Motor Lodge is down in Bardstown in January, which is a full space. But I guess whoever the winner is can choose what they want. And it's a $50 gift.
Yeah, we'll put you in contact with the the lucky person. So without any further ado, we will let our trustee president draw out a number. I have listed all your names and a corresponding number next to each name. So
Number 8.
number 8 is Adema. All right, thank you very much.
Well, now's the opportunity. Has anyone got something coming up, a special event or a promotion they would like to tell us about? A lively crowd we have today. Well, Vince. Oh,
And I'm not sure of names. We have an Easter egg hunt in Tyler Park. I think it's next Saturday.
Easter egg hunt at the Tyler Park next week. Verify date.
And also, we have Shakespeare in the Park.
Shakespeare in this park.
It's coming up soon, our Facebook page and our website, tylerpark.org. will have details.
TylerPark.org have details. Thank you. Yes.
I would like to say St. James is having their last fish fry on Friday night, 5 to 7:30. And then we too will have a nice Easter egg hunt after our 11 a.m. mass on Easter Sunday. So that would be in our rectory yard, which is so much fun. You know, go to Tyler Park, you can come to St. James and
Thank you. Vince.
I just want to thank everybody for their help and promotion of the St. Patrick's Day parade. Thanks to all of this.
Well, thank you, Vince. The parade has become for a 50th year anniversary. We were in there with the best bead throwers, or excuse me, passers. We don't throw, bead passers. They had to retrain me. But it was an excellent attendance, and we're so glad we could participate with you once again. Thank you. All right. Well, please stay after, do a little networking. The people online cannot thank you enough. We always encourage you to be in person, but Zoom is always welcome. Thank you all very much.